I was talking to a friend of mine and she mentioned this book. I didn't think I was gonna read it, but then one day I had nothing better to do and I really felt like escaping into the world of 80s. So I picked up this book titled Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I really didn't want to read it in the first place because I thought that the title was pretty overrated and it felt like one of those books that have a flashy title but inside they're just full of cliches. But I was so judging the book by its title because this turned out to be one of the most unconventionally beautiful books I've ever read. So this is a story about two 15-year-old boys, Aristotle, often referred to as Ari, and Dante. He didn't have a nickname. The plot of the book is set in 80s and it starts with Ari, who is also the narrator of the story, in El Paso, Texas. He's in high school, he has no friends, and he has a hard time fitting in, not only in the outside world, but also in the inside world. Like all teenagers experience and feel, he feels that he has these strange feelings bubble up to the surface, and he doesn't know where they come from, and he tries to suppress them, but the more he tries to suppress them, the more they bubble up again. The two main characters are poles apart in some aspects of their personality, but it's this contrast that adds a unique flavor to the book. Ari is someone who stays in his own shell when it comes to feelings and expressing them. He keeps them to himself, whereas Dante is quite expressive of how he feels. He cries in the novel quite a few times and he's okay with expressing himself. But Ari just keeps his fears and feelings bottled up inside of him. Ari has a warm relationship with his mother, but he never gets his father. On the other hand, Dante understands his father better and finds his mother inscrutable. Ari's father was a soldier in a war and he suffered a traumatic experience which has left an indelible mark on his memory, and he's still not over it, and he still suffers because of that experience, and he never talks about it. So Ari feels that there's a lot of ice between him and his father, and Ari wants to know his father and wants to know what all happened, but he cannot just seem to melt all that ice. Moreover, Ari's elder brother is in prison and his family never talks about him. They don't even mention his name, and Ari often wonders what might have happened, so he lives a life where he doesn't know his father, his brother, and himself. Dante, on the other hand, has a much warmer relationship with his family. Ari is just so full of self-hatred. He hates himself for a lot of things and is always trying to run away from himself, whereas Dante isn't like that. He accepts his feelings the way they are. He isn't ashamed of them and he doesn't try to run away from them. And it takes Ari a lot of time to finally accept himself and love himself for who he is. I felt Ari's character was just so relatable, and the story begins with Ari with no friends and he's trying to learn to swim, and that's when he comes across Dante, who teaches him how to swim, and that's how they end up being friends. And the story progresses with them discovering the mysteries of relationships, love, sexuality, and themselves. Honestly, when I started reading this, I wasn't quite into it because it's written in a very simple yet poetic manner. And though I'm a fan of simple books, I kind of don't get poetry a lot, and sometimes I feel that it's only the poet who really knows what his poems mean, and I know I sound immature, but that's what I really feel sometimes. And since this book is written by Benjamin L.R. Sands, who is a poet, it had a poetic touch to it. But it was really the characters that were just so interesting, and that's what kept me going. I found this book to be more character-centric rather than plot-centric. I felt it was more about understanding and getting to know the characters, their opinions, thoughts, and feelings. And I think it's harder to make a character-centric novel stand out to the extent to which this book did. But the author has portrayed all the characters so beautifully, and by the time the book ends, you just end up being so attached to all the characters that you hate that the book has come to an end. I never feel this way about a book, but yeah, I did feel this way about this particular book, and I'm so looking to read more books by Benjamin L.R. Sands. And I really don't know, did I just say that this book is the most unconventionally beautiful book I've ever read? Because that's what this book is all about. I love it, and is one of those books that I'll always have on my list of all-time favorites / standalone books of all time. And I know I've talked a lot about it, but I still feel that I've not fully expressed how much I loved this book. And I don't know, it's such an adorable story, and I'm so grateful that this book crossed my path. And it's always going to be really special, and I cannot recommend this book more. And I would really like to thank my friend, her name starts with N if she's watching, for telling me about this book. And that was it. I am still not satisfied, but I guess you'll have to read the book in order to feel what this is all about. And that's it for now. But before I end this video, I really want to tell you guys thank you so much for everything. I know I haven't uploaded in a while, and thank you for sticking around, and I hope you are all doing well, and I hope you listen or read or watch to something fictional. Could be anything, a song, a movie, or a book, anything, because sometimes just escaping into a fictional world does make you see real life in a broader and better perspective. I don't know, it just helps me sometimes, and I hope it helps you too. And now I sound like a life coach or something, which I'm clearly not. So I guess that's it for now.